And with chip technology and zero liability, it's secure. Interact Flash. It sure beats cash. For details, visit interactflash.ca.
Oh, you're going to want to hit repeat on this, everybody. We've got the beautiful Lisa Oz. Recognize the last name, yes? The other half, some might argue the better half of Dr. Oz is here with this. She's a New York Times bestseller. This is her latest. It's called Us. So welcome. Welcome to Toronto again, and welcome to set. I read quite a bit of this, and I have to say you have such a beautiful way of writing, a very relatable way. No shock considering who you're married to. You're both very down to earth and sharing your experience. You start by saying, listen, I haven't figured everything out, but here's what I have so far in terms of managing relationships. You say the most important thing is to start with your relationship with yourself.
Well, you have to, because that's the foundation for every other relationship you have, whether it's with your work or your family, your spouse, your friends. If you want those relationships to be good, you have to work on the relationship with yourself first.
And how do you do that? Because it seems we're constantly being pulled apart from work. We're just talking about Twitter, social media. That needs a piece of you. 25 years of marriage, 4 kids. How do you build enough of a foundation? What are the tools you need to do to create that sense of whole?
It's not unlike every other relationship where if it's important, you need to spend time together. So you need to spend time with yourself. You need to get to know who you are. You get to know what your priorities are, what's important to you, and that does take time, but not a lot of time. Even if 5 minutes a day, if you use some of that free moment to self-reflect, to ask yourself important questions, and then to observe your reactions throughout the day, then you can actually start to shift your behaviors.
So to catch yourself, because I love that you talk about, you know, you don't have it all figured out. Even you will spend your time speaking to your hubby, and you're looking at your BlackBerry the whole time, realizing you're having a conversation. I've been guilty of this. You haven't even looked up at each other to make that contact. You're not really present. You talk a lot about that. Not just being present, but being in the moment of that present.
It's so important because you can't actually connect to someone. It's very strange. We have a society where we're connecting with people who are hundreds of miles away and not actually talking to the person who's right next to us. So, and that's dangerous, and you lose intimacy when you don't have that connection. So I think it's about, as you said, prioritizing. It's about balance. It's about making the people you're with important at that moment. It's about really living every moment you're in. And that doesn't mean that you don't really live the moments on your BlackBerry, but don't try to do so much that you never do anything well.
Because something's got to give, and let's hope it's not your sanity. So you have to check yourself and say, how did I spend my time today? What could I do different so that I could be happier with how my day unfolds every day, and make those little tweaks. You also talk a lot about mental health, physical health. It's a whole mind-body connection. And you brought a bag full of goodies today because you're always traveling.
Yes.
It's exhausting. It takes a lot out of you as well. And you always carry some essentials with you to take care of you. So what are some of those?
I brought you some presents, actually.
Oh, me?
Yes, because
Lisa, you didn't have to do that.
A Canadian, you guys don't get enough sun.
This is true.
And so you are vitamin D deficient.
Yeah.
Probably. The majority of you. Maybe not you personally. But you should be taking vitamin D every day.
Okay, so what are we talking? How many is it? What do you call IUs?
Yes, that's 1,000 international units in that each one of those pills. And you should take 1 or 2 of those every day just to make sure that you have enough vitamin D because you're not beyond the sun. You know, our ancestors were in the sun with their arms exposed, no sunblock. Now we go, even when we go out, we cover ourselves with sunblock.
That's true.
So we, at least 20 minutes a day of sun exposure or vitamin D supplementation.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else do you have in that fancy
Well, we've got some other things. Now, this is a children's DHA.
Oh.
And this is an adult version.
Okay.
These are omega-3 essential fatty acids, and these are great for your brain function and your immune system, and I take them all the time, and they're good for your skin, help with anti-aging. They are fabulous. Love them, love them. The vitamin C, I take this all the time, too, especially when I'm traveling. You know, you're exposed to all the germs in the airplanes, and yuck. And here, some greens. I love...
Do you really travel with these everywhere?
No, these are your gifts.
They're really for me to keep?
They're really for you to keep.
That is very kind of you. I'm going to fill up on all this stuff because you're true. It's true. We neglect ourselves, but I really do have to ask you this other question about you and Dr. Oz. Who wins the most arguments in the house?
We never argue.
See? I knew that was going to happen. And I know he's always showing the kale and the blending of the green drinks. What do you guys pig out on? When you do allow yourself that treat, is it pizza? Is it ice cream?
He doesn't pig out, period. That's just not who he is. I would take anything. You have French fries hiding somewhere in the studio?
I'll get you some poutine. It's really good here. Thank you so much. Continued success. Really wonderful book. Pick it up, everybody. CHFA.ca. It is out in stores today. Go to the Canadian Health Food Association for more information. As well, follow her on Twitter at Lisa Jane Oz. I just tweeted a picture of her, so you'll get her handlebar there. And I'm about to skip on the poutine and catch up on all of Lisa Oz's goods. Alrighty, over to you, Mel, in the newsroom. I think I'm good.
Thank you, Dina. And here's what's making news this morning. Paramedics rushing a man in his 80s to hospital right now. He was hit by a car that was backing out of a driveway. He's now suffering massive head injuries. Chief Bill Blair meets with the Police Services Board this morning to look at his revised budget cuts. You'll remember last week Blair was asked for an increase of 1.5%, but the board still wants him to cut 10%. And we are just 20 minutes away from the Apple iPhone 4S going on sale right here in Toronto. In sports and baseball, the Tigers beat the Rangers, but Texas still leads the ALCS 3-2, and the Brewers even the NLCS at 2 games each with a win over the Cardinals. And we are looking at the roads. Over to Russ.
We are indeed, and some good news. Highway 7's reopened. East of Martin Grove had been closed. Bayview and Millwood still closed because of an early morning fire. The Gardiner Expressway, both directions, it's filling in. Now, we're just looking at new problems here. As you can see, it tells you exactly where we are. We're westbound on the Gardiner, the ramp to the 427 and Browns Line, Sherway Gardens. We've got problems on the shoulder, got tow truck on the scene. All lanes are open, but motors slowing a little bit as they go by. That's westbound on the Gardiner, taking the ramp up to the 427. If you're on the 401 across town, no problems to tell you about. Southbound 404, that's building over the 401 onto the South Don Valley Parkway, heading eastbound on